Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone and everything in between. Welcome to the Stay Positive Podcast, episode 25 plus 1 equals 26. I'm Alex.
I'm Pete, and we have another guest.
Hi, everybody. I'm Simeon.
Oh, his voice is just it's so deep.
It's velvety, yeah?
Voice. Yes, it's just right. It's just like smooth Lindor chocolate.
Oh, thanks.
Lind.
Oh, yeah, the peppermint patty.
The York peppermint patty.
Yeah, that's how smooth my voice is. It just crumbles.
Beautiful.
Thank
but
you for having
you
me
already
on.
introduced yourself. Tell us a little about yourself, baby.
So I am, an artist, I guess, at this point in my life. I'm a filmmaker. I also do a little bit of the music. I play guitar and, the poetry stuff. And, but for a profession, I am a video editor. So film editor by trade. So yeah, that's me. I'm 22. Gosh, getting old. You know what I'm talking about? Speaking of getting old, it's Pete's birthday today.
It really is my birthday. Number 21.
Number 21.
Damn.
20. Oh no.
It's a special number here in the great United States of America.
Yeah.
Yes, it means alcohol consumption is finally legal because we definitely didn't do any of that before.
Exactly. Right? We were all children of the Lord.
Absolutely.
And the Lord said, by law, you cannot drink. I find that so funny. To go off on a...
You can join the military, but a sip of beer, that's wrong. Incorrect.
Unheard of. Like, that's so crazy to me. I'm so glad you brought that up.
It's scandalous,
They're like, no getting drunk. You can kill a man. You can look him in his eyes as the flame dies out. I swear to God, if you take a shot, you're going to jail.
I mean, in all fairness, that's not the job description of a soldier.
yeah, no. That's the most dramatic. I
feel it.
He's all about film and TV.
That's all I see in movies, right?
Oh, yeah, that's fair enough.
You ever see a soldier work a desk job?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think these ROTC guys do?
Oh, yeah.
That's low-key what they're doing.
Well, I stand corrected.
You think the ROTC guys are on the front lines?
Nah, probably not.
They definitely are not, man. They're like low-key pulling the strings.
Yeah.
The officers.
Are they... I'm not going to question somebody's level of soldier. That's not my... I was going to be like, is that a soldier then? But, they are. They
no,
are.
They're soldiers. They're soldiers.
No, yeah,
I don't know how much they fight, but...
They went through all that nightmarish training. They deserve to be called soldiers.
Yeah, 100%.
I didn't do it,
Like
so you wouldn't call me a soldier.
Okay, so, Simeon, tell us what you want to talk about today.
Yes. So I have found that there is a sort of social contract between the populace and what we consume. And what I mean by that is our media. In specificity, and what putting it smartly.
In the
whatnot, our films, our television and our films. Case in point, right? On TikTok, you can find so many trends happening that preteens are doing. You know what I'm talking about? We did it with the Instagram era. But
even Vines.
In Vines,
yes.
Take that idea of doing these little dance challenges, these dare challenges, these prank challenges, and put that on a larger scale. You go to the movies, right? You watch an action show, you watch an action movie. You see this guy, he's got an 8-pack. We're talking Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson here. You know what I'm talking about?
Beautiful human being.
You look at this guy and you're like, what is he wearing? How is he presenting himself? And then subconsciously, you yourself try to sort of morph into this character because this is what is being propelled in a popular sense, what is popular culture. This is what being propelled is a cool guy, a man's man, a guy's guy.
Yeah.
Masculinity.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It presents us what we should be as men, and same for women as women.
Yeah. The whole, like, what was it? Not Playboy. Like Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
You know, those like cover models, Sports Illustrated cover models, or like all those modeling agencies in general.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, showing a woman what their body has to be.
Exactly. And I just find it so interesting that although now we are fighting the traditional sense of what is cool, what is manly, what is womanly, how we should be, there's still a sort of masochistic kind of vibe I'm getting from what we choose to approve of and what we choose not to. So like, say that there's this like beautiful, gorgeous woman, and she's like scantily clad. Scantily clad. We as a society will be like, oh man, we love to see it. But at the same time, we're like, if you do this on the regular, like if you're like walking outside, if I see it on a screen, it's okay. But if I go outside and I see that, no bueno, dude. Like, you need to stop being so gorgeous. Stop, put your clothes on, all of this kind of stuff. We love to see it on the screen, but we hate to see it, in our neighbor,
Yeah.
And
sorry.
No, I just find that super interesting to me. Yeah.
I was going to say, so in other words, there's a lot of influence between film and TV in general, or just the film industry, any type of media, and pop culture.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a disconnect, like the example you just gave. And that is actually super, super interesting. I kind of want to dive deeper into that. So I guess anyone that's listening right now, they know for sure the show The Queen's Gambit. That
brand new Netflix show.
Brand new Netflix show. Have you heard of it, Alex?
Is it like a chess show?
Yes. How did you guess?
Because I was watching chess videos and it was recommended, and I thought it was like some
You
special. I thought it was like a special like chess move. I didn't know it was a film.
Well, yeah, it is a popular opening to chess games, but the fact of the matter is that everybody is obsessed with chess now because this show on Netflix just pops up out of nowhere. It's a great show.
I was obsessed with
you
it
say
before
that.
it was cool.
I was a chess player back in middle school when people called me lame.
I played chess before. I played against my teammate.
Before
he would always wipe me. I liked it.
Yeah, before we keep going, I just want to say, like 30 years ago, like if you like Star Wars or comic books, you were a nerd and a loser. Whereas now, like that makes you not necessarily cool, but like people have accepted it. It's mainstream. So now like people are like, oh yeah, the new Spider-Man movie, oh Dragon Ball, I love that, and
exactly,
and all that stuff.
I find it goes right into like what we were talking about, how the popular culture is really just set up for us.
Yeah.
But we choose it, but we like, that's the thing that I'm questioning. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Do the people choose it, or do these companies?
That's high key. That's
it?
High key chicken and egg problem.
You know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think? Like, which is it? The companies and like marketing agencies treating us, the casting agencies, are they choosing based on what they grew up on, or are they choosing for us what is popular, or are we choosing what's popular?
Alex, do you have an argument? I have one. So
I feel like the way it works is a kind of cycle. So Star Wars is a nice example. Star Wars was not a really high budgeted movie, and they kind of just let George Lucas do whatever he wanted, and it became really popular. And then when it became really popular, then they started to exploit it. But in this situation, it wasn't popular first. It was made with a lot of passion, and it was a really nice product. People started to like it. It got mass appeal. Then big companies were like, hey, money, let's get it.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of being spoon-fed Star Wars in a very soulless cash grab way because Disney, but that's a different discussion. I feel like it's just a matter of it's just a matter of popularity in the sense of attention seeking. It's like when nerds liked it, they liked it because they genuinely liked it, whereas now you'll see these corporate schmoes. You'll see like a woman CEO being like, I love Star Wars. It's like, name one movie.
Yeah.
I dare you. I double dare you.
I dare you. Yeah.
So it's like the corporate people are like trying to be like the cool guys or girls, and it's just like, you're not. But little kids don't know any better.
Yeah.
So my take is, I'm very big on egg came first when it comes to
Okay.
chicken and egg.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Problems.
You're
Or-
wrong.
He's wrong.
No, I'm totally wrong. I'm always very big on egg came first. So I would say in this case the people are the egg,
Okay.
right? So I think that people choose it because ultimately the way this industry works is, I mean, from my perspective, you have a different perspective because you study this and you know this way better than me. But this is content that people want to absorb. This is stuff that people enjoy watching, and it's for people's enjoyment. So ultimately, the way it works is you're gonna do whatever you can
Yeah.
to still capture people's enjoyment, right?
Yeah.
So it's ultimately the people that dictate.
You have a laissez-faire idea about it. Like the people choose what to buy, and then that is
Right.
ultimately.
I mean,
so,
ultimately, that's kind of how capitalism works.
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
just
So I'm
capitalism,
a very big capitalist, to be honest. So.
I see. No,
I think that's the exact way, in media at least. That's not how I think it works. Not exactly. I feel it's more along the lines of, like, yes, at first people, like, dictate this is popular, we really want this, but then the companies get their hands on it, and now they're the ones kind of running the show, you know? So it's like...
I
yeah.
understand.
What's your take, Sim?
I'm a bit of a cynical guy, right? So I think is certainly the companies,
Interesting.
like from the get go. You know, I think people don't know what they like until you tell them what they like.
Okay.
You know, if you go, it's kind of just human nature. At the, you know, you stand at the top of a crowd, and you're like, "What do we want to do?" And then you'll just get silence. You know, if it's like something small enough that doesn't change people's lives. So that's where, you know, leaders come from to say,
Yes.
this is what we're doing, right? And I think that is ultimately the Disneys and the Lions. Well, Lionsgate, I don't think is around anymore, but the Paramounts and the Foxes, you know, the Fox Newses and the Fox, you know, and all that stuff, and the Sonys, right? They said, yeah, obviously Spider-Man has always been
popular,
like a huge character, popular, right?
Yeah.
They said, you like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
I know this very distinctly.
And like people before, what's his name? Oh God, why am I forgetting? The newest one, the
Tom.
you know, the new actor.
Something.
Tom Holland.
Yes, Tom Holland. Before people saw Tom Holland, they're like, yeah, I can dig Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. And there are people to this day that will argue that he is the best Spider-Man. And I'm like, did you see that movie? Like, did we watch the same movie? So I think that companies definitely put these things in people's heads, you know, and if it gains enough traction, then that's the popular, you know what I'm saying? And people for a little while digged the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man over the Tobey Maguire.
They're wrong.
They're wrong.
They're very wrong.
They're wrong.
You're not wrong about the assessment either. That's the worst part. Is like, yeah, those were horrible movies. The Spider-Man depiction was just not on
I'm
point.
sure the actors tried their
disappointed
best.
in Sony Productions.
I'm sure the actors tried.
No, they did.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely he tried to act his ass off. I think he did better in The Social Network.
Yeah,
Great
no,
movie.
100%. That is a good movie. Mark Zuckerberg, man.
Yeah.
Is he your hero? he's Pete's hero. Yeah,
He's not my hero. He's not. Mark Zuckerberg is soulless. He's spying on us right now as we speak.
I don't use Facebook,
you know, Facebook,
though.
man, Bookface. Yeah, me neither. Do
But-
you use Facebook?
I don't. I mean, I have Instagram. Everyone has
Yeah.
Instagram. I don't have a Facebook.
Yeah, I have one, but it's like mostly for family and potential business. You know.
I do. I will say I'm playing into their hands so well. They just love me. I have the WhatsApp. I want to get one of those Oculus VR headsets.
Ooh, yeah. But that's another thing that the companies are telling you.
Mm-hmm.
That
Exactly.
You need this Oculus. You need to be in virtual reality. Like, we don't live in 3D reality. You know what I'm saying? You have to shoot a gun in a video game in your house instead of, I don't do your thing with guns, but like, you can in real life. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know. I find the virtual reality thing a little like forced, in my opinion. Like, do we really need virtual reality gaming or virtual reality streaming? Like, it just
not at all.
It's novel. It's a new
There's
idea.
There's literally no need for it. Yeah, and it's just fun. You see, that's the crazy part. One thing that I love about entrepreneurship is the idea that you need to try to solve problems for people.
Oh yeah.
You know, so if you can solve a problem for enough people, you'll be successful. But there's also this aspect of, if you just make life a little more bearable, and that's the shit they don't teach you.
No,
you know?
they don't.
If you make life more enjoyable, more bearable, if you could do something that gives people like a reason to get up in the morning, that's a moneymaker.
Yeah,
times a million.
100%. I think.
Yeah, those Oculus VR headsets, you don't need those. You don't need those.
But
they're fun.
They'd be cool to have.
Right? They're fun.
Yeah.
That's all that they are.
I'm a good old traditional guy, you know.
Just a PS4 guy.
Yeah. When streaming sites started to pop up, like when Netflix, I'm pretty sure everybody here remembers when Netflix used to come in like the little game
envelopes.
Not GameStop.
A Blockbuster.
Yeah, like
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they came in the envelopes.
Yes.
You had to send them back. I really enjoyed those days, and then it became a streaming service, and I was like, "Oh man, what? Why do I need to pay this many dollars a month?
Darn it!
I'm gonna catch all of these movies in theaters anyway." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an avid theater goer. You know,
I love movie theaters.
Movie theaters are amazing, and so like that's another thing. You know, that goes back to this situation. It's like people. When streaming services were, you know, became this apex, you know, the pinnacle of watching things, it's like, but why? You know what I'm saying? Like, and people complain about this all the time. They're like, oh, there's nothing good on Netflix. There's nothing good on Hulu, you know? But then there's this one show or this one movie that gets everybody back on board. But then there's a slump. Oh, there's nothing good anymore. It's like, man, if you just waited until, you know, the theaters or something like that, or, you know, I don't know. I'm a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to this kind of thing, but I still, you know, I have all the streaming services.
I think
I say it, but I have
when it
them.
comes to the streaming services, I feel it's just a bit of it's kind of just being a little spoiled, because I remember when Blockbuster used to be a thing, and whenever my mom would like take us as kids to Blockbuster, that was like an event as a kid. That's like, I'm hyped. I want
It was
like, and it was just fun to be in the store and look at all these DVDs. And for me, I also rented games, and I'm like, it made me giddy because I was really happy. Whereas who's invading your house right now? God.
It's probably one of our buddies out there.
Okay. I'm not cutting this, by the way, Pete. Whereas now in Netflix you have literally not necessarily everything, but you have like a million things at the palm of your hand that you can watch at any point in time. That feeling of giddiness, that excitement is no longer present because it's no longer like a very cool event. Now it's just like, I watched everything because it's there. I binged whatever series and now it's all done. The end.
Yeah.
Like the magic was lost, you know, a little bit.
I agree. How do you guys feel about binging culture, by the way?
Whoa.
It's stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex wouldn't like me then, because I'm the type of guy that never watches TV shows.
Yeah.
I can't watch TV shows because personally I just get super invested to the point that I binge. Like if I'm gonna start a TV show that I really enjoy, I'm gonna binge it and finish it so quick. I finished Game of Thrones in 10 days.
Oh,
I watched the whole show in 10 days.
What did you do? Wait. Did you sleep?
No. I sleep deprived myself. This was a year and a half ago. I very much sleep deprived myself watching the show. I slept like 4 or 5 hours a day every single day for 10 days.
Jesus.
To watch this.
And
show.
then you wonder why his grades are the way they are.
Wow.
It's a callback.
Wow. Oh.
It's okay. We didn't mention it. We didn't mention its actual value, so don't worry about it.
You know. But like, so I watched anime growing up, right? I'm a huge anime fan or anime nerd, depending on who you're talking about.
Weeb.
Well, back in my day, they were called otaku. Nah.
You clown.
Yeah, and so like I grew up binging my favorite shows because they would like already be finished.
Naruto.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm rewatching Naruto with Amir, by the way.
And it's a beautiful,
It's so good.
beautiful show.
Continue.
So like I grew up binging, right? And so I didn't really see a whole problem with binging. I kind of enjoy the aspect of, it's the privilege of it. It's like, oh yeah, I know this next episode is out right now. I'm going to one more episode.
Because they're so short.
They're so short.
Always like half an hour, 25 minutes.
Exactly. But like now that I'm like older, I see how the instant gratification is a little bit, it's
so toxic.
It's so toxic. My it's not one of the better it's not one of my better natures, that instant I need this next episode. It kind of bleeds into other aspects of my life. So now I'll like make it a point to wait I'll if it's like a long series, I'll watch like a couple episodes in a day, but I won't spend the whole day. I just got super fatigued over this thing I did over the summer. I don't know if your listeners know about the gargantuan episodic adventure of One Piece.
Yes.
You said it before you even said it.
I binged every episode of that show. I am. And it took everything from me over the summer.
It took everything. You sound like an anime protagonist.
I started my journey. It took everything, man. I didn't go to bed some nights over the summer because I was like, if I don't get through this arc, I'll never watch it.
I can't sleep.
So binging culture has ruined me a little bit, but I also can't stay away sometimes,
Well, here's
my policy.
Go on.
My policy for binging is usually 5 to 6 hours on a Saturday and or Sunday, and very rarely on the weekdays because I have stuff to do.
My policy.
I mean, no, because I like shows sometimes, and, sometimes there's a lot of episodes, and I'm like, well, I kind of want to finish this. I want to know what happens, but I also don't want to, like, watch one episode a week because that's too long. So I'll speed through it.
Yeah. What are your favorite kinds of like television or movies? Like what genres do you usually watch?
That's interesting. That's the thing. I'm very much.
You're not a movie guy or a TV
I know
guy?
I am a movie guy. I'm not a show guy, like I said. Because the thing is, like I said, I'll binge. Yeah. I'll binge hard, and I don't binge because I've just got so many other priorities in my life, man.
No,
I can't lose so much time watching shows.
Yeah.
So I never watch shows, but I really genuinely enjoy movies that make you think. Okay. I love intellectual. So Interstellar. Interstellar's my favorite movie. Oh wow. Yeah. I just love the fact that it has such a great blend of science. Yeah. Which is all completely accurate, by the way. Can I just say that it's all 100% accurate, the way they depict it, because some movies like Gravity, for instance, there's a lot of stuff wrong with that movie. Yeah. There are some other movies that just they get stuff wrong. It makes no sense, just scientifically, But no, this movie was great. The Martian was great as well. So I'm an engineer, so
you like science movies.
No, I like intellectual movies. I like Christopher Nolan as a director, to be fair, because he makes you think when you watch his stuff.
I wasn't a big fan of Dunkirk, but I
didn't like Dunkirk either.
What was wrong with that?
was just kind of boring. It was a little confusing too, but I also watched it on a plane, so maybe that just kind of took away from the experience.
Yeah, the whole idea is you need to watch it in the theater because the way that the sound works, everything, it's just it is an experience. So
That's the
watching
one
on a
with
plane is like the worst possible thing you could do.
That's the movie with the English saving the soldiers from the beach, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. I don't know.
It's like a World War II, whatever.
It is. It is a World War II. Yeah. Inglourious Bastards.
That's a
great movie.
That was a good movie, Pete.
Did you say good movie?
Yeah, it is a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It is a great film.
I was gonna say, are you saying that's a boring film? Because you would have to walk the plank, Pete.
It's such a good film. I watched it in full for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Yeah?
I never watched it. It was so good. I'd always watched little clips of it.
Yeah.
And there were just so many great clips of it.
Yeah.
And I'm a really big fan of Quentin Tarantino, to be honest.
It's so hard to realize. Nah, it's not hard, excuse me. It's so interesting that film has Brad Pitt in a southern or accent, but at the same time you have Michael Fassbender like in this like speaking German
as an Englishman.
And you have like these super tense scenes, and then you have this juxtaposition of this cowboy in World War II that is Brad. You know what I'm saying? We're here killing Nazis. You know what I'm saying? It's like those. It's two movies like thematically and tonally like pressed into one, but it works on every level. And Quentin Tarantino, some think he's a hack, but I don't. I think he has a really good pen.
Huh. What do you mean by that? Some people think he's a hack.
Well, so he is influenced, in air quotes, by a lot of foreign directors.
Oh.
And sometimes he'll straight up steal shot compositions. But I don't like calling it stealing. It's more of like paying homage. But
okay.
Like, you know, some people are like, because he doesn't go out in interviews or explain like this is from this movie, people think it's a little bit more diabolical. But I don't know. I think he's just like a film nerd that, you know, wants to shout out his influences, and the way he contextualizes the shots. It's totally different. You know, it could be the same shot, but the film is tonally different. The words are obviously different. The actors, the happenstance that got them to wherever they were in the shot is different. So I think there's no harm there, but some people do. So I just think his pen is amazing. The way he writes dialogue is, oh God.
He's really good. Pulp Fiction is also one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
I love Pulp Fiction. Now, it might sound so quote unquote basic white bitch type of thing, but
that's super basic. You're basic.
Yeah, I'm basic. But I just need to say it because it's a great film.
It is good.
And it's not because it's just an unbelievable plot line or there's just crazy stuff happening. It's just because of what they say.
No, yeah.
And nobody understands how to like truly cherish that anymore. I feel like they watch a film and they want to be entranced by just like or in a trance by this whole plot, this whole storyline and everything. And I'm just like, just think about what they're saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, at least for me, because I like to mix. So I listen to music a lot more than I listen to the lyrics of songs. And that's kind of how people treat the movies. They like to look at the overall big picture rather than the very small semantics.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that the dialogue is brilliant when not Julius. Oh gosh. Marcellus. Yeah. No. What's Oh gosh, I'm forgetting the actor's name now. But anyway,
talking about Samuel Jackson.
No, his partner.
Right.
Oh,
John Travolta.
John Travolta.
Yeah.
When he says to Samuel L. Jackson, he's like, you know what they call a Big Mac? No, or a quarter pounder in the UK and England? A Royale.
No,
with
it's
cheese.
in Paris. It's in Paris.
It's in Paris. Yeah. A Royale with cheese. And when I thought about that, I was like, that says so much about this guy. You know what I'm saying? It says so much about the relationship, even though they're hitmen. It's just Oh,
Right?
a Royale
Right?
with cheese. And now I can't get it out of my head. A Royale with cheese, you know? I gotta
Dude,
try one.
When I tell I gotta try a Royale with cheese. Dude, when I tell you I heard that line for the first time from my old tennis coach. He was like, I'm really feeling a Royale with cheese right now. I was like, what in the fuck did you just say?
Yeah,
to me?
what is a Royale?
What is
that on the secret menu?
And then I watched Pulp Fiction like 10 years later. I'm like, holy shit, that is where it came from.
Really quick, not really quick. I do want to go into this, but speaking of like popular culture thing, whatever. So, have you guys been out west before, like to California at all?
I've been to California once.
Okay.
Once for me as well. I went to San Diego freshman year.
Did you guys try In-N-Out Burger?
No.
Don't get me started right now.
I'm not a fan of.
I'm
In-N-Out.
not either.
Yo,
I genuinely think it's just so unbelievably overhyped.
It's
and
so overhyped.
my dear friend and teammate EK will hate me for it, but I just have to say it's just so overhyped.
It's so overhyped, and people like the first time I ate it, like animal style and everything, it hurt my stomach.
Animal style.
I was like, I was in the back of a car. I was like, I don't feel so good. And they're like, oh yeah, it was that animal style. It'll do it to you. And I'm like, why do people like this?
Look, I don't think it tastes bad. They're not bad burgers. They're good. But the thing is, when I had it, I expected something way better, because everybody would say it's like, oh my god, it's so good. The reality is, it's cheap. It's cheap as fuck, and everybody loves going there because it's so cheap. And yeah, you get a burger for $2-3.
That's crazy to me.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like old McDonald's.
Literally. You know, nowadays you go and get a Royale with cheese, it's like $10 almost.
You know, the whole meal. Don't even get me started on Uber Eats, man. I used to Uber Eats all the time back in the day. I don't know.
Alex, did you ever Uber Eats when you were back here?
Like order or drive?
Order.
No. I have free food. Why would I pay for food?
Because the free food's like so, you know.
It's free. I'm poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
Let me shut my privileged ass up.
What are you talking about, bro?
Listen, I'm starting to get this. Oh man, I've been eating out too much lately. Like this past week, my bank account's like, "Hey man, are you gonna get a job?" You can't keep doing this to us, man.
You can't keep doing this to us.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
am gonna get a job. I just
No way.
so I can like continue to put BS in my body. You know what I'm talking about? That's
Some more Royales for cheese.
You know what I'm talking about? We're gonna get Chipotle after
Oh, I'm
this.
so excited.
I'm like, Chipotle is gonna hit.
I hate you. Yeah. Okay, but let's bring it back. So
yes.
I wanna think a little bit more about the whole this whole idea you said, the high level where people that are running these companies, people that are making the films, they're curating the content, they're the ones that are really dictating what the people quote unquote like. And I say the Commonwealth when I say people. That was super interesting to me because I always feel like I have a more individualistic approach. I have, like I said, very capitalist point of view. So very free market. Everybody has their own biases, their own opinions, everything. Yeah. So they can choose what they like.
Yeah.
And I'm an individualistic person. So I would like to think that, you know, my own free will is definitely not in jeopardy when I go out and try to decide what pack of chicken I want to buy from the supermarket, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It kind of rubs me a little weird. But like I said, you're more experienced in this. So I just wanted to know like a little deeper in that.
The thing is, Pete, you know, on an individual level, yes, you and I we might not succumb to like brainwashing and being told what we should and shouldn't believe. But overall, you know, the companies, they do have a decent power to, you know, influence people. I like to, you know, the way you talked about how the corporations and the companies are the ones who decide what we like and what we don't like. I slightly disagree because I can't speak for much for movies because I don't know movies too well, but I know video games pretty well. And like there are times when like a video game company, they'll make a game that everyone like, they'll have a franchise that is really popular and they'll make a sequel that really changes things up, and the community will be like, no, we really don't like this, and the sales will drop, and then the next time they make the game, they make it better, catering to the people who were complaining in the first place. So this is clearly this clearly shows that while the companies are the ones making the stuff we love, we have the power to decide also. Like, obviously, on an individual level, if I said I'm boycotting this, yeah, they're not gonna care because they sold another million copies without my sale.
Yeah.
But if everyone didn't buy it, then they'd be like, "Oh my God, this is bad. We need to do something about this." I like to think. I just came up with this thought, and let me know what you think. I like to think of this kind of like a king with his kingdom. You know, the king has all the power. They decide the laws, the rules, and what people should and should like and should do. But at any point when the people want to revolt, they can overtake the king. They have the power. They just don't do it until a certain boundary is pushed. You know, I think, and while companies and corporations do have a lot of power and a lot of influence, and a lot of people just look at TikTok, get easily brainwashed into doing silly things for no good reason that I can't explain no matter how hard I try, they do technically have the power to stop it. They just have to do it together, which they're not going to do 99% of the time, which makes your original belief come true.
Yeah, the thing, and that's certainly the situation, is definitely a power balance, or balancing act between corporations and the people. I think in that balancing act, it teeters a little bit more towards the corporations because the amount of influence that they have. Case in point, the Hobbit movie.
I remember watching that, but I didn't know anything about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the Hobbit trilogy was, oh God, what a terrible trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's bad.
I didn't know anything about Lord of the Rings.
Pete,
So
if my memory is correct, The Hobbit is like one book that they spread in 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's not how you make a trilogy.
Not at all. It was one book, and the book wasn't even like
that long.
One, two, it wasn't made for the same audiences, the book, The Hobbit, as The Lord of the Rings was.
Okay.
And 3, no one asked for the Hobbit movie.
Oh.
No one asked for it.
But you see, that's where my point comes in. It's like, why would you even think about?
But they made it, though.
No one asked. But like,
what do you mean?
"Quote unquote," no one asked, as in, it's dictated on the people what they want. You know,
It didn't though.
But they didn't want it.
Well, I know,
but they made it anyway.
I know, but isn't it? The point is, whether they want it or not, it's still you're putting the pieces in. Okay, I'm struggling to find an analogy right now. But
I got you.
My point is, like, you're putting the ball in the people's court.
Okay.
You know,
they made the thing and they pushed it on people through marketing. You know, through the toys.
Yeah.
Getting Martin Freeman. He's good. You know, people like the Martin Freeman. Getting the Gandalf, you know what I'm talking about? Using so much of the Lord of the Rings like legacy to push this movie and to say to people, this is like the Lord of the Rings, guys. Watch this movie. You'll love this movie. But and it was bad, but people watched it. You know what I'm saying? People like tried to convince themselves as they went out of the theater. No, that was a good movie. I enjoyed it. So much so that not just the one, but all 3, I think, damn near made the money back that they spent on making them.
Oh wow!
And they didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve it at all.
Yeah, but
and I think that's.
Yeah. Continue.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, I was pretty much done.
Oh, sorry for cutting you off. I like to think of this, once again, I know video games more than movies. I like to think of this more like a legacy status. So, for example, do you know what Street Fighter is in video games?
Oh, yeah.
That's a really popular franchise. And in recent years, Capcom, the creators, kind of were struggling, like, with satisfying the customers. But people still buy it because it's Street Fighter. the guys who made the really good games in the past, they're still making the next Street Fighter, so I'm gonna buy it. You know, this is what I think of as like a legacy status. It's like you establish yourself as a name. Like, you know, like in restaurants, you know what McDonald's is, you know what Starbucks is, you know all this stuff, and it's considered good, or maybe it was good in the past, or whatever. You know them, you know their names.
Yeah.
But so now when they put out a new game, you know who's making it, and they made good stuff in the past, so you're like, oh, well, it's got to be good this time, and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
And with this Hobbit movie, I don't know, I didn't watch Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, I just knew about the Hobbit scenario. I assume the Lord of the Rings movies were pretty good, so once you have those good movies, well, now the corporations who only care about money, they're like, well, we have this whole other book that kind of relates to Lord of the Rings, and we can market it as Lord of the Rings, but not really, and people will buy it because people liked it the first time. Another thing is Star Wars, like the new trilogy that happened. Did you watch those movies?
I did.
Did you like them?
I hate to be that guy. I like them. I like the movies.
No.
I like them. I know.
No,
I
that's fine. You're
know.
allowed to like what you want. I mean,
I hate you, Alex.
you're wrong. You're wrong, but you can like what you want.
You're wrong.
No, I get it. Your point. You were saying.
Well, I mean, since you like it, this might be a little awkward now, but the main thing is,
No, it's okay.
I think it's fair for us to say those movies sold well because Star Wars was really cool before, and people were like, they're doing it again, so it's got to be good again. And you say yes. I think even you would say it's not as good as the old ones.
No. No, it's not.
I think an even more better example, Disney with their remakes. They're not making any original movies anymore. They just keep, it's like, hey guys, remember The Lion King? What if you watched it again, but 3D this time?
Right.
Remember Mulan?
Or what was the exactly. What's the term they used to do like
Live action remake.
What's it called? Live action.
They even hired Beyonce, and no one could. For The Lion King.
What do you mean they hired Beyonce?
They hired Beyonce
to be a voice actress,
play a character, to be a voice actress.
They did not.
They did.
For who?
For people.
I think for Nala. I think she was Nala. Yeah, and for people, right? And they also casted Donald Glover as Simba. And I thought, I didn't watch the movie, but from the trailers, I was like, he's not Simba. You know, he just doesn't have that range to be Simba.
I never watched any of the remakes. Even if the remakes are good, which apparently from what I've been reading, a lot of them aren't. Some of them are okay, but most of them aren't. They still pale in comparison to the original 2D animations because they just...
Yeah.
And this is my personal opinion, but I like cartoons more than I like real life. I live real life every day. Why do I want to see a movie about real life?
Exactly. And I agree. I'm much more of an animation guy. And like, I think when the degree of disbelief, it kind of, you don't have to enter that realm in your head when you watch a animation, or an animated thing.
Okay.
Because in your head it's not real, obviously.
Okay.
It's not real. So with that guise over, you watching it, the things start to become real. You know what I'm saying? It feels more real because it's not real.
Imagination. Imagination is a huge, huge factor.
No,
when
and
you watch a live action thing. Yeah,
but also like Disney in the 90s, they really were good with script writing, with scenarios, with the animation. Robin Williams' Genie is just, it's art. Like that is just beautiful. Like there's just a lot of character and charisma. It's like, yes, it's animated, but like as a kid and even as an adult, you can feel for these characters. You relate to them even if they're not real. Whereas now you have them quote unquote realistic, but their dialogue and their way they were written are so much more bland that why should I care?
Exactly. I got you. And that is certainly a big aspect of, in the writing. When you're writing something, you want to make sure your writing is believable enough that a person watching, your audience, is not getting casted out of the movie, out of the believability of it. I just think it's also easier for bad writing to skate under the rug if it is animated, I feel like that may be a hot take, but personally I think, it's easier for me to believe an animated whoever to say some something stupid than, to see a real guy saying something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a hot take.
No. There's some truth to that. Do you know what Final Fantasy is? It's a video game.
I do, but I've never played the games.
So the most popular one is Final Fantasy VII, and this year they remade the game, like 3D graphics. They redid everything, right? So the thing about the original Final Fantasy is there was no spoken dialogue. You had text boxes, and the dialogue was kind of goofy. It was silly a little bit. But it was never spoken out loud. You just read it. And when you read something without a voice, you kind of make it up yourself. Whereas in this remake, they are now speaking, and the dialogue sounds stupid when they actually say it out loud. So that's like a perfect example of what you were saying. It's like if it's animated, well, it's more believable. The same way it's like if it's not spoken but it's written, I can kind of imagine how it would be said, and it would make sense to me. Whereas if you see some like really serious soldier being like saying something silly, like where's the mayo? It's like that's not that he wouldn't say that, but now he's saying it and it sounds silly.
It's all it's all in the tone. It's all in the tone. I find it interesting. I just find it interesting how America doesn't treat its cartoons as well as they should. Like for adults, like adult animation. I think anime goes crazy with it, but it's definitely not America. Like I want to see more dramatic stuff in animated.
Well, it looks like Pete has some important duties to attend to right now, but don't worry, we are going to be back next week with our good friend Simeon. Until then, don't be sheep, like what you like, and as always, Simeon, what do we tell our people to do?
Stay positive.
Yes, baby.
Perfect.
Yes. Until next week.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone.